biggest mistakes I see people making with leash walking is they get their leash really short, and this is a short leash, just the leash we usually use. They get their leash really short, and they try to hold their dog in heel position. So the entire time they're walking, they're actually pulling on their dog. And if the leash is going to mean something, this leash pressure straight up would be telling him to go up. If instead the leash should be slack and you use the leash to communicate with your dog. So instead of just constantly pulling, you're going to be tapping your dog if you feel him on your hand. But you're not pulling on them unless you need to tell them which direction to go. So I'm going to walk in a circle here and kind of show you what that tap looks like. So I feel him pull, tap, tap, tap. Put my hand back down, my elbows are straight. Feel him pull, tap, tap, tap. My hand goes back down. The reward to giving to that collar pressure is slackening the leash. Now, if I have a dog that's chronically trying to get way out ahead and always kind of pulling on me, that's what I refer to as yo-yoing. And if I have a dog that starts yo-yoing, then what I will do is I will exaggerate the difference and correct. When the dogs are chronically just barely out ahead and they're just pushing that boundary, and he's going to do it here because he just ran around with my son. You step back, bump, 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 until the nose goes behind your leg. Then you walk again. Elbows straight, not pulling on it. There's lots of slack on the leash. You can see it drape down there. This is a shorter leash than what I would typically train with. If he gets out ahead, I'm going to throw his toy so he does get out ahead. You can see it. Step back, tap, tap, tap. It's from the elbow, so it's a pretty good tap. It would depend on what kind of collar you're using. So he is now accountable for keeping the slack in the leash. It's not me constantly pulling on him that's keeping the slack on the leash. So he went ahead and grabbed that, which is allowed. When a dog is loose leash walking, it is different than heel. Loose leash walking is a deal you make with your dog. I don't pull on you and you don't pull on me. You can go behind me, to the left of me, to the right of me, but you cannot pull on the leash. As the dog gets better and more mature, we will have an invisible hula hoop on our heel side that our dog stays in during loose leash walking. When I am heeling, it looks a little different, and I'm going to show you this because a lot of people have never seen heeling. Heel. And heeling has nothing to do with the leash at all. You could take the leash off. It's more about the focus. Watch. When you stop, they sit. When you move, they move with you. If you go backwards, heel. They go backwards. If you go forward, they go forward. The requirement, watch. Eye contact and watch. Watch. If you stop walking, stay. That is not acquired through pulling on my dog. That is taught with treats in the house. Heel. Stay. Watch. I do two skills there. I teach them where heel is, and I teach them how to make eye contact, and I add difficulty to those. If you try to teach heel and loose, so when that happens, when your dog is really amped up, it does help to do a couple of with me turns. And some people will try to do turns every time they get out ahead. That's good. It doesn't hurt, but it's not always practical. So most of the time I just do the step back and tap, tap, tap. But in certain circumstances, they need a little bit more to change their mind out. So walk, they get out ahead with me, I change directions. Notice how the speed foot slack. When I turn, one of the biggest biggest mistakes people make is they say, their dog gets out ahead, they say, with me, and then if he's not distracted, well, he is over there, but he's not pulling. If he was pulling out that direction, people accidentally wait and let their dog catch up to him. The point of this exercise is that you become unpredictable, and they have to pay attention to know which direction you're walking. So what it might look like is, with me, with me, with me. And now he's starting to be like, hey, with me, which direction are we going? And even starting to offer me a little bit of eye contact, which I didn't ask for, but if your dog in the initial stages of training offers you eye contact, I would reward and feed that. So there's one last exercise I want to talk about with leash pressure, and that is giving to leash pressure from different directions. So your dog has to understand that when he feels the collar, it's telling him to do something like move. So just practicing moving your dog around while into different locations and rewarding him with slack. So the cue is pressure. Apply pressure, he moves, he gets slack. I apply pressure, he moves, he gets slack. I apply pressure, he moves, he gets slack. You can do this in all different directions. If your dog sits instead of moving its feet, that is not the correct answer. So if your dog is sitting instead of moving their feet, it's likely the mistake that's being made is upward collar pressure. So apply pressure and reward with slack. If your dog is being kind of squirrely about that, you can put them in a narrow space, apply pressure, reward with slack. Apply pressure the other direction, reward with slack. So you teach them to give anytime they pull. It then becomes a cue that says, move this way. And you fix that pulling problem. But if you're always pulling on them, what they start to learn is it doesn't matter where I walk. My owner's going to be pulling on me anyways, so I might as well pull back. It starts that tug of war. And once you have that tug of war, it takes a little bit of practice with the with-me turns and changing what that collar pressure feels like with those backwards taps.